it's all good. I'm ready. I'll just have to try and find out. Check on YouTube. Right, let's turn the mic on, Ryan. Just let our viewers know that we are testing quality settings and stuff in our stream today, so it might be a little bit janky, but thank you for your patience. Talk with you on the mic there. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find out more about the. Can you check the quality setting?
Right, bienvenido. Welcome back. We're here down at Childers Road Reserve doing some pre-season testing for Rangai Media. Just having a little bit of a play with the camera and the microphone and floor manager Tom's laptop and seeing what we can bring to you from in front of us. A few changes you'll notice for Thistle already this season. It's Kieran Venema, who's returned from Gisborne United on the board with his brother Dan. And Mitchell Stewart Hill just given up early here though, trying to find Alex Davies on the right. It's Ethan Clark for Napier Marist on the ball. And a wayward strike from Aidan Jones. Just speaking of the testing, I'm looking at it on the YouTube as we speak. Seeing if anyone wants to pop up in the comments any pearls of knowledge you might possess about this Napier Marist side. Looks like they're still sponsored by Alexander Electrical, but one thing you definitely notice about them is that on the sideline, I'm sure you'll hear it before long, the dulcet tones of none other than Brett Angel, former Hawke's Bay United coach of course, and more well known for his feats in the English Premier League with Everton. South End, I believe, in the lower leagues where he scored most of the goals. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in that comment section. But it's an icon ball starting something down the right for Marist. We've looked to slip Aidan Kirby-Bourne down on the right hand side there. It's coughed up and Yearback now on the ball for Thistle through Venema. And number 10 for Thistle just to the bottom of your screen there. Emiliano Avalo Pieta Buena, fresh out of Argentina. hoping to hang on to him for a little while. We'll see how that plays out. Of course, you'll notice no Gazelle this season for the Thistle. He's gone to Napier Marist in the Central League there. And the man on the ball just now, Matt McVeigh, back in the fold as well after a couple of seasons recreationally with Lytton High School in the local league. Good looking ball from Yidabek. It's claimed by, that is Tom Talbot, and goal for Napier Marist, just on a temporary loan deal today. Come up to the tight half-year region without a goalkeeper. So that definitely works in Thistle's favour. Alexander on the ball now to a through ball to Percy Fish. Two Percy Fishes on the field. The Marist original Liam is joined by brother Luke, fresh out of Masonville this season. Patterson comes over, gets a heavy challenge on Kirby Vaughan. This one settled down and run through to Mitchell Stewart Hill. Again, just to mention, if that coverage is a wee bit patchy, it's got slim to nothing to do with the header on the camera. That's just our testing settings, trying to make sure everything gets nice and tidy for the season. We can get our sponsors as much exposure as possible. And speaking of, we'd like to let out a massive thank you to Aotearoa Labour Hire coming on board this season as the main sponsor for Gisborne Thistle. So we're ALH Gisborne Thistle. And we thank Izzy there for getting right in behind us and the things Garrett Rea is trying to do to bring the best standard of football possible to Gisborne. That's a pretty fast start here, to be fair. First 5 minutes of the game, seen a lot of possession, potential opportunities for Napier Marist. Thistle sitting pretty deep, to be fair. McVeigh on the ball now. It's made its way through to Yidabek. And that's Avalo now. Gives up possession. Nike on the right for Marist. Finds Percy Fish up front. Travels inside. Coughs it up to Clark, who's going to have a go from range. Not to trouble Stewart Hill, but almost takes out the Davies dog. So we've got Alex in there at the right back today. And may or may not be the opportunity for brother Ollie, who's going to turn out this season for Havelock North Wanderers in the Central League. See if he can be of any use at any stage in the fixture. Little crowd building down here at Childers Road Reserve, despite this only being a pre-season meeting, and many people already watching on the stream. But the town's obviously thirsty for entertainment as Macy now comes across. Macy is sports, of course, already sponsored by the Happy Fruit Company. Nike has managed to come away with that. Just mentioning testing here. Still trying to see if any of those comments will pop up. I need somebody a bit more educated in the YouTubes than myself to come and do that one for us. Potential through ball there for Marist, but it's picked up well by Stewart Hill. There's Dan Venemer, the oldest of the Venemers, playing at left back today. And there's his brother Kieran, and the number 17 for ALH Gisborne Thistle. Sprays it well for Leo Macy, out on the right-hand side there. And he's bundled off that one by the newer Percy Fish, I believe. That would be Luke. As referee Ben Chisholm's lost his hat in the middle there, risking a 5-run penalty if the ball hits that, of course, so something to watch out for. McVeigh standing at the corner of the box, looking for options. Possession's recycled back to Davies, who gets the ball across. Patterson meets it at the far post, and Talbot makes the save. Great opportunity today for Gisborne Thistle to have two of their goalkeepers on the pitch in one pre-season game, as that one just lands in the sinkhole there. You'll see the dull patch on the right wing if we're heading towards the south. Yedebek shows good level of confidence in his goalkeeper to put him under, but his cheeky little dink is just outside of the reach of Daniel Venema. Kirby Vaughan steps up to take the throw. And here's your first feature of that Brett Angel style. He's not quite Donald Piper, but he makes himself known. Alexander on the right is cut out by Yedebek for the throw. Oh, I've just been handed by floor manager Tom a cell phone of a greater capacity than mine. I mean, that means I can shut that right down, put that back in my pocket, and say g'day to Mustafa Chan. Where are you, mate? You should be here playing. Tell us your story, get in those comments and spread us another narrative. Thank you to Amanda for the feedback on the sound. That's what we're here for. We're here to practice today, just the same as these guys on the pitch. We're trying to find out how to get the best possible product to you with the resources available. And just got to mention Rangai Media there for coming on board. Gisborne District Councillor Shannon Dowsing, of course, throwing the resources behind the production here. Corner comes across, it's got Darrington at the top. McLean's looking to get on top of him. Oh, and hitting the crossbar there looks like new Percy Fish. And also a dangerous little strike there from Aidan Jones, the ex-Taradale man, of course. Of course, one thing to know about live streaming games is that when I watch in front of me, it hasn't quite got to you yet. So if you make a comment and I'm not super quick on the uptake, it's not because my reading age is only humble 7 or 8. It's actually a majestic 9. And I can read. Here's Maisie on the right, squares. Darrington's on hand to clear. But referee Ben Chisholm spotted something here. Unsure if he's pointed to the spot or if he's pointing at somebody in the crowd. But Angel is livid on the sideline. Almost as if he's expecting Jaron Brower's granddad to do something about it. But Chisholm spotted something here, and you can see it on the coverage better than we can. You can give it a couple taps to the left and you'll be able to know that Leo Macy's scored the first goal for Gisborne Thistle's pre-season. So it doesn't count on the record sheet, but it'll count very much for him. The man sponsored by Happy Fruit Company, of course. Formerly Western Springs up in Auckland, came to Gisborne to finish his education at Campion College, and he's wound up with ALH Gisborne Thistle. He's looking to cement that place vacated by Jimmy Summerton. And he's off to a great start here. Around about 11 minutes into the fixture. It's another new man there, Sebastian Bayliss, trapped in possession for Napier Marist, and Chisholm gives somewhat of a make-up call as Constable Matt McVeigh was harrying at him. Here's Avalo now on the ball. Looks to drive and plays it out of the sinkhole, which is harder than it looks. Think about anybody that's played golf out there playing out of a bunker. That's what he's done. Davies driving through the middle. That's cut out well by the other Percy Fish. And he's given him a bit of a bunt there, but he's got around him, the former Mason Vale man. He's seen Stuart Hill off his line, but to no avail on this case. So ALH Gisborne Thistle 1, Alexandra Electrical Napier Marist 0 at this stage. And it looks like we've got a French Bulldog on the south bank. Day for dogs, actually. Matt the Asset Harvey has come down and bought his ex-greyhound. Samuel, I believe it's called. So if you get the chance, just down the bottom of the screen, if we can get to header to pan a little bit lower, you'll see Charlie looking after Samuel, the ex-racing greyhound there. Veneman out, left back for Thistle. Stuart Hill looks to stir something up. That's the new captain, Ryan Anderson. Nick Land, the Thistle legend, the 450 gamer, said, "That's enough from me, I'll come and play, but someone else can bark the orders." Won't be able to keep me out of the game for long, but Ryan Anderson is the man with the armband now as Marist build again dangerously. It's picked up by Percy Fish, who shows some smart feet, but Anderson's right there on top of him, showing that leadership. It's Avalo now. There's Macy wide on the right. McVeigh looking at his options ahead of him. Can't quite thread the needle for Avalo there. He's looking a little bit high, so Thistle are slightly exposed here. Percy Fish on that one has Kirby Vaughan on the right. That's Clark in the middle in the purple boots, if I'm not mistaken. Skillful player. Ethan Clark, of course, the son of Napier City Rovers legend Harry Clark, who won the Chatham Cup back in 1985 for the Rovers. He was the goal scorer. A bit of a merry-go-round down there in the Hawke's Bay with clubs, of course. But with Havelock North Wanderers getting promotion out of the Federation League this season, will make for the derby again. It's happened before, but this time I feel like Havelock North Wanderers might be just that little bit stronger than last time. Last time was all a bit of a rush. There's a spot vacated, which they took. Whereas this time they're there by planning, not by fortune. Avalo now, cut out by Durrington. It's Jones on the ball there. Through ball for Percy Fish. Stuart Hill is very high and puts the ball very wide. Alexander at the top of the box here. Recycles it back out to Kirby Vaughan, who looks to cross. And it's to a totally open Alex Davies at the far post there. One only wonders if Alan Callett, Panel and Paint, will look to get on board with Alex Davies this season. Here's McVeigh in the middle now. Paid his own subs, but if anybody wants to sponsor him, we'll take a little bit of extra pocket money. Don't worry about that. Here's Macy on the right, which will lead to about the third or even fourth time that the Happy Fruit Company's been mentioned today. So just for anybody listening out there, those sponsors, those player sponsors, that's where the exposure comes from, because that's your man representing you out there. Going to be wearing ALH on the front of our shirts, of course, which stands for Aotearoa Labour Hire. But each time your guy gets the ball, if you sponsor him, I'll be mentioning you. Here's Clark on the left, looking dangerous, and Anderson tries to stand him up, has a strike. A little bit of a deflection, well spotted by referee Ben Chisholm in his splendid fedora, I believe it's called, a wide-brimmed hat. And it's Aidan Jones who's going to mosey on over and take the corner. Correctly called from none other than Reece Brewer on the bench with Thistle. The short one, Kirby Vaughan, goes for the top corner perhaps. Let's say he was, but it's across the face of goal. Had a good solid 50, maybe even 60 players down at the pre-season sessions for Gisborne Thistle, so a good amount of those guys are down here supporting the boys today. First chance they've had to see them at home this season, and what a day for it here in Te Tai Rāwhiti. Refreshing easterly breeze coming across the ground. Avalo now on the ball in space. Played for Te Puke last season in the Waibop Championship of all leagues, and he would have looked well out of place there. So he is hoping the Thistle can hang on to him, but if we don't, keep an eye out for that name. Still a young man, plenty of years ahead of him. Shades of Albert Riera, for those who know the football scene. Stuart Hill's very high. He's brought that down on his chest and gathers that to fine effect. Stuart Hill, of course, sponsored by Ryan Electrical last season, and I am 98% certain that Liam will be looking to do that again. Here's Veneman out. Patterson does well to turn Nika, but not before the ball crosses the line. Now both the Veneman boys will be looked after by Rotorua Forklift and Machinery Services this season. That's Stu over there. He watches the coverage. G'day to Stu if you are tuning in. Thanks for your support of the boys. And you only have to watch 1/3 less of the football games this season. Middle child Jason, of course, still doing the work for West Hamilton United. Just spotted Liam O'Leary popping in on the comments there. Alex Schroeder, the absent Marist goalkeeper, those tickets are still his. Don't worry about that. Of course, he went into the draw as one of the player of the matches for the visiting team at Childers Road Reserve last season and won the draw for 2 tickets to a day of R&V. As Percy Fish has the ball on the left and slips Clark. Stuart Hill's out and he's pushed him wide. Clark can't quite close off from the tight angle there. So yeah, Liam, don't worry, Alex will get his tickets when we're allowed to have R&V, which has left a hole in not only the entertainment scene but also the fundraising scene. Boys put in a lot of work there to garner that support from R&B, which we're very grateful for, but of course it hasn't happened, so everyone's a bit sort of left up in the air. Percy Fish isn't going to make that one. Venema steps over to take the throw, so I don't know, Liam, let us know in the comments, have we addressed that to your satisfaction? I mean, like a little emoji or something wouldn't go too far. It's quite a blunt question you've asked there. Here's Avalo. There's a lot of chatter on the sideline. It's hard to hear yourself think. You've got Angel going, you've got the Thistle bench going, an extended Thistle bench today, of course. Here's Macy. Almost looked like he was going to get chopped down. Patterson's flat. Chisholm's going to struggle to spot the offside from deep in the centre circle, Peter McFadgen style. Here's McVeigh, goes for the around and out. Talbot has done exceptionally well there to make the challenge outside the box. Familiarity looked like it was going to be his foe when McVeigh was bearing down on him, but Talbot did very well, the boys' high student. He'll be starting turning out in the Pacific Premiership team for Gisborne Thistle, which will also be ALH Gisborne Thistle, thanks to the support from Aotearoa Labour Hire, but also Diggett Gizzy coming on board in a big way just to make up the shortfall in travel. And we thank Josh and Luke there at Diggett Gizzy for that. We also hear rumours that are looking to bring Ryan Anderson into their player sponsorship stable. Here's Avalo driving, looks to find Maisie on his right hand side, just underhits the pass. I'll just ask a favour of the viewers at the moment. We've got a really annoying welcome to live chat, blah, blah message from YouTube. I just want to shift that down the screen, so we're going to need a few more comments there just to let me know that you're there. Let me know that you're present. Let me know a little bit more about Sebastian Bayliss. I can only tell you that he's a bit of a mad scientist out of Lindisfarne College. In his Year 10 science fair, he brought home a very distinguished second place. So he's a smart man and a dangerous man. He's there deep in midfield looking to get on the ball here, but it's gone through Percy Fish instead. I can also tell you that for those who might know the name Sebastian Bayliss, if you're basketball fans at all, you'd note there was a toddler around about 15 years ago who ran the halftime entertainment single-handedly for the Hawke's Bay Hawks. He was at the time, he was the Hawke's Bay general manager's son. So long story short, he'd just shuffle his child out. I'm not sure if he was crawling at the time. As Valo plays one to Davies, who's a little bit high on the pitch to receive that. But yeah, basically, long story short, the toddler was on the halftime entertainment, and that was none other than Sebastian Bayliss. So the mad scientist is also an entertainer. Let's see what he's got for us here. Clark and Percy Fish working together. Percy Fish has a go from distance, but it's into the hedge along with the other 300 balls so far this pre-season. And what an exciting day. We've seen the influencer, Matt Adams, is showing up down the bottom of the grandstand. And who isn't happy to see Matt Adams? Wonderful Hannah behind him in support. You may hear the odd shriek here. That's a story shriek that you'll hear when great things happen on the field. And it was a gentle whistle that you'll hear from referee Ben Chisholm in the middle there. Nike standing over the free kick now. And that comment section is almost dead, so I'm happy to have a couple of co-commentators ready and waiting here. We know Hannah's keen. Floor manager Tom looks to deliver the microphone menacingly, and of course we are testing today, so some things might be a little bit weird. And I'm just going to check if this secondary microphone's on. And absolutely it is, so I'm just going to wave that under the noses of my co-commentators and see if we can stitch them up a little bit. For those interested, Adams is on the vitamin water. He's gone for the pomegranate flavour. Just keeping himself in tip-top shape. And yeah, we're not going to plug that iced chocolate that Hannah's holding. Just one thing that we could mention is it's hard work up here in the media booth at Childers Road Reserve. So anytime anybody wants to deliver some treats, let's say you've got a company that sells chocolate milk and you want to get the name out there, you could bring us some and we'd drink it and we'd tell you that it was delicious, refreshing and well priced. There's Jones trying to get Napier Marist going on the pitch. A bit of a lull at the moment, has to be said. Avalo now on the ball. He's turned the mad scientist there inside out and he's found Patterson on the left. Patterson looks for Macy. Uses good strength there to shrug off new Percy Fish. And it's Venema now, bursting into the area, showing a good turn of pace. Welcome on board Travis White there in the comments section. Assuming he's got the COVID at home. Hope you're feeling all right, Travis. Hope you've got your pulse oximeter on your finger just to make sure those levels are above 95. Here's Davies, the best right back in town, on the corner. Oh, Anderson meets it well. Excuse the reaction. Just enjoying a puff of baked dust courtesy of co-commentator Matt Adams. Thistle recycling possession well here at the back. Beckons Patterson to Woodson for him to receive it back, but it's Yetterbeck instead. McVeigh just looks to orchestrate something. Benham is sitting deep, little bit of a shuffle. Moves it on to his brother. He's got the captain Anderson now in the right-hand pocket deep. Davies, the best right back in town. Then underhit that one, and Alexander looks to release. Looks like Percy Fish. Dan Benham has done well to hold him up, but Clark is free at the top and brings Napier Marist level. Fine finish there from Ethan Clark. Been in the setup for a number of years now and showed his value there to bring Napier Marist level. So it's Alexander Electrical, Napier Marist 1, ALH Gisborne Thistle 1. Around about 29 minutes into the fixture here. Land gets onto that one there. Special good day if he happens to be watching to Peter Reeves, the father-in-law of Nicholas Land. Had a bit of a whoopsie on the farm. But we're glad you're still with us, mate. So hopefully they'll set up the stream and giving you a bit of entertainment to listen into this afternoon. There's Percy Fish, the original Percy Fish that is, has a go from distance. Stuart Hill collects it without too much bother. McVeigh dropping deep and often. Sees Avalo's taken up a space on the right-hand side. Looks like he's pulled a bit of a switcheroonie with Mick Land. He's now in the middle of the park. Patterson putting in some work here. See if he goes the whole way. He's overlapped Venema. And they've got to play on here. They can't just stick their hand up. And a belated whistle comes. Patterson's there, so we may as well just take the throw. Stuart Hill getting involved. Harlow has been dispossessed there, but a strong challenge from Anderson wins that. Macy bumped off the ball by new Percy Fish, who's then bundled over by Avalo. So for those just tuning in, that number 4 is Luke Percy Fish, who up until now has always played for Mason Vale. He's come over to Marist this year, perhaps attracted by the prospect of being coached by none other than Brett Angel. Anybody out there wants to sing the jingle in the comments, not going to mention the company because they don't give us any money. But he is a real estate agent these days, and we are hoping for a bit of support from the real estate fraternity here in Gisborne. You are creaming it at the moment, so give us a little bit of that. We want to put the boys on the plane and we want them to be well fed. Speaking of Percy Fish, looks like he's been taught how. Marist really are in the ascendancy here. It's like Thistle coach Garrett Blair's considering to bring on his 7-year-old son. He's just got the wrong kit on though, so might be easily confused. McVeigh again. Bit of attention from Kirby Vaughan, but that's freed up Yetterbeck through Venema. Here's Avalo on the drive. Looks for a through ball, but has no run. Wonder if that came through the effects mic, but Yidabek catching a bit of ankle there. But it's Jones who's found Clark here. Anderson's held his feet and stayed alert and managed to get him the challenge there. Just getting trapped a little bit on my cell phone, looking up the correct pronunciation for Hurringa Pie. The reason I mention that is a local organisation in the health sector, which we'll come back to, is Patterson Squares, and Talbot holds well. So, Hurringa Pie, of course, the Gisborne Thistle community partner this season, which Yidabek will be driving. More on that in the weeks to follow. Thistle look to hit the lead again before half time here. Land tries to go through the middle. Darrington shows good strength to head out of defence. Patterson sneaks up on him. Sneaky Sam they call him, and he's here on the left hand side. Trying to win another penalty there, but Chisholm keeps his whistle away from the lips on this occasion. Here's Jones in the middle, spreading it. Alexander on the ball now. Clark looks like he's got Bailey Hunt, the Kitman's son, over there on the left. Ooh. Percy Fish decides to have a go from 7 or 8 yards on the angle. It stings Stuart Hill's palms. But he doesn't rub them, because it'd be kind of hard to rub your own palms. Napier Marist have a corner on the left-hand side. It's Jones taking them from either. Remember the last one went short, so Maisie's over to try and cut that one out. So we set things up here. In a fortunate enough position to be able to watch the replays as the corner comes over. Alexander brings it down, but his touch is loose, and Yidabek plays it away. As Patterson under close attention from Nika. Avalo through land has Yidabek in a little bit of space on the left, gets it back. Shows good close control there. Yidabek and Land have been doing that for a few years now. McVeigh's got high, but his flick is cleared by the Marist defence. Here's Alexander trying to bring it down under attention from Venema, and picks up the pieces, and it's Avalo on the ball again. Good little skills there. Davies releases Macy. Cuts back and has Davies rather in space at the top of the box. Here's Nick Land looking to release one on the left, but can only get the third toe onto it rather than the whole thing. And Talbot slows things down. A big defensive header there to win the goal kick back for Thistle. But Maisie's a little isolated there. Here's Kirby Vaughan looking to release the original Percy Fish down the right. That ball stayed in because it's stuck in the moat thanks to a little overdose of Roundup. And Venema preserves the throw. Angel getting vocal, definitely winning the battle of the touchline so far today. ALH Gisborne Thistle head coach Garrett Blair, of course, keeping it calm. It's just pre-season. We're all trying new things as Yidabek looks a little winded over here on the near touchline. So Thistle playing with 10 at the moment. See if Marist can exploit that. Here's Macy now. Foiled by New Percy Fish. Marist get the opportunity to reset, and Stuart Hill's been spotted off his line again, but he's read the play well and managed to come away with it without too much bother. Here's Daniel Venema, the eldest brother of three. Plays it into the rear end of Kirby Vaughan, which has resulted in possession for Napier Marist. As Alexander has seemingly the danger man, Ethan Clark, out on the left-hand side, who'll look to go around Davies, and does, but just can't quite get the cross away before the ball crosses the byline. Here's Avalo. Land has space in the middle. Goes back into the traffic, but releases McVeigh. A well-weighted ball. McVeigh's just got to get a toe on this. Has he got the finish? Very Letizier-like, and it's bundled into the goal. You go as far as saying that's just awarded. Looked to be the foul from Talbot on McVeigh there, and nothing doing. So I'm sure this will be a 2-1 lead for Gisborne Thistle. Looks like Marist have accepted their fate here. So it's an equaliser for ALH Gisborne Thistle. Should I say a go-ahead goal? It's 2-1. That equaliser for Marist definitely felt like one that put them in the lead the way the game was going. Of course, the early penalty to Leo Macy. Everybody just gets the chance to have a little sip of water on the side here.
I tried last year and I'm a bit colourful in my vocabulary. YouTube comments just and I was kind of half drunk.
And there we go. Just a touch over 5 minutes remaining in this first half. ALH Gisborne Thistle 2. Alexandra Electrical, Napier Marist 1. Physio Mark Baple, the lovely Mark Baple's done a good job to piece Talbot back together. Marist look to bounce back from this, but they're not going to do that by rolling it to Stuart Hill. Here's Andre Riley's popped up at left back in place of Kuba Yedebek. Riley, of course, former Campion College student. He's lightning and fit. Looks like Maisie's come back from an offside position there. Well spotted by referee Ben Chisholm. And Stuart Hill under a bit of pressure here. Deals with it. And has Riley on the left, who's thwarted by the sinkhole and his pass is loose. New Percy Fish looks to find an overlapping Kirby Vaughan on the right, but again it's Thistle in possession. Avalo has McVeigh in a lot of space, and Thistle will look to pick up the pace here. Add another one to their tally going into half time. Patterson squares, it's away by Darrington. A little deflection courtesy of Nika. It's McVeigh in that advanced position again. Gets chopped at by Darrington, but holds on to possession. Patterson's cross. Almost met by Macy, under a little bit of attention there from Bailey Hunt. Talbot releases a torpedo down the middle there. Stuart Hill's throw for Avalo in the middle. There's Avalo again, seeing plenty of time on the ball today. Alex Davies in acres of space on the right-hand side. He's been found. There's Maisie ahead of him, who manages to hold his feet, get around New Percy Fish and rifle one into the bottom left-hand corner. Full credit to the Happy Fruit Company man, who could have easily gone down then for the second penalty of the day, but he'd rather stick it in from general play. Great finish from the ALH Gisborne Thistle. Number 11 today, Leo Maisie, of course sponsored by the Happy Fruit Company. He'll see the Gazelle Jimmy Summerson's 12 goals from last season, and he'll look to better him this year. Bags of talent. Could this be the year that he finds himself in the spotlight? As Marist make a substitution now, looks like Bryce Fulton coming on. It's not the Plymouth Argyle Bryce Fulton, of course. It's Hawke's Bay teenager Bryce Fulton. He's got plenty of time on the ball here. He's taking the place of Liam Alexander by the looks of it. Speaking of teenage, interesting little fact here for the Marist side. Only 3 of them were born at the time Nicholas Land made his debut for Gisborne Thistle. Let that sink in just for a second. That's Land marking Percy Fish here and somewhat letting him run away from him. But we're spanning generations out here on that pitch. So loose ball supply's gone into the hedge there. Just trying to get some eyes on the Thistle bench to find out who that was that planted that one into the hedge. So just a little delay here as Stuart Hill goes and negotiates with the Tangata Whenua of the hedge to receive that ball back. It's actually a population of about 3,000 just inside that hedge between Childers Road Reserve and the Badminton Hall. Simmons takes the mark on the side there. Raiden Simmons, of course, looking to get his Gisborne Thistle debut today, the former Palmerston North Marist and Wellington Olympic man. It's Jones in the middle. Stuart Hill makes a good decision to put the up and under there. Jones again coughing up possession that time though. So that man in the red headband there in the middle, number 6 for Napier Marist. He's a road runner of some repute, taking out a second place in the under 12s back in the day, the Hawke's Bay Road Running Club. Also had their championships. And he was the second best runner over that 10-kilometre distance amongst under 12s. Just cut one in the eye there. And Thistle on the break. Here's Avalo. Here's Macy. He's onside. Squares it. It's just out of the reach of McVeigh. And referee Chisholm's evaluated play ahead of him and decided that Macy was indeed offside on that occasion as Hunt rolls the ball about 10 metres ahead of where the infringement happened. Darrington now has Jones, the fittest man in the bay. It's Nika. Jones again now. Percy Fish is not going to chase that one. Here's Andre Riley with the throw. The Venomers combine to bring Stuart Hill into the play, who looks to switch for Davies on the right-hand side. He's got Hunt ahead of him, who's now behind him. Found McVeigh in the middle. Thwarted there by New Percy Fish. First name Luke. Anderson switches for Riley. Elects to bring it down on the right and dances around it a couple of times before bringing it under control for Daniel Venemer. Lane thinks about it and goes back. Thistle definitely building well from the back today, as referee Ben Chisholm brings things to a close for half time. It's ALH Gisborne Thistle 3, if my counting is correct, and Alexandra Electrical Napier Marist 1.
Australian Cup.
Yeah, because last year we played 4 games. So we tried to play what, 4 games in the one day? Yeah. Or was it over? No, I think it might have been. Yeah, it was over 2 days. Sorry.
Right, welcome back. No idea if you're still with us because floor manager Tom's taken his phone back. Rightly so.
4 games a day.
Can't keep these things forever.
We're not under 14 ready.
But the teams are ready. Referee Ben Chisholm is ready. Brad Reynolds is ready. He's made a cup of tea. He's sitting back in his Hamilton hub, keeping the wheels turning of the company there and watching a bit of football on the YouTube thanks to Rangai Media. And so are you. We've got ALH Gisborne Thistle playing left to right in the blue. They've got 3 goals in the first half, and their opponents, Alexandra Electrical Napier Marist, playing from right to left, and they scored the 1 goal. Good finish from Ethan Clark, has to be said. Not as good as the finish from Leo Macy though, for Thistle's second, it must have been. You'll have to cycle back on the coverage to figure out if it was the second or the third. Strong challenge there from Ryan Anderson, Thistle's captain this season, as Yeshniel, I should say, sorry, Yeshniel Nika drives forward, and he's still there. In the hands of Stuart Hill though, and now at the feet of Andre Riley. Here's Kirby Vaughan for Marist, looks to find Jones in the middle, but can't quite. Here's Ethan Clark on the ball, looking dangerous. 1 step over, a drag back, some sort of funky little flick there, and Percy Fisher's shot is blocked. Durrington now, it's a fast start to the second half here. That's the substitute Bryce Fulton in the 12 there for Marist. And it's Matt McVeigh, and acres of space on the right hand side. He'll look to get ahead. New Percy Fisher's in pursuit. Manages to spin him around. And here's Thistle, the ball on the right. Heavy collision there. And that's the younger brother of Yeshniel Nika on the floor there. That's Parnell Nika. He's got up now though, and he's okay. 3-way collision there between Clark, the younger Nika, and Venemer, and a good save from Talbot from McVeigh's header. So it's Gisborne Thistle corner. Looks like Avalo's going to stand over it. Davies may look to pull rank and tell him not to bother. As Macy goes to negotiate for the safe retrieval of the football they need to carry on playing. Here comes another one though from Thistle head coach Gary Blair. Valor plays it short to McVeigh, whose cross challenges Talbot, but it's over the crossbar. And we've also seen that Leo Macy has returned from the hedge, so 1 ball down. Caro Venemer's gone to retrieve that though, Cameron Shaw I should say rather. Mother of the Venemer boys with her French bulldog Petunia. Here's Kirby Vaughan on the right. Squares it. A little bit under hit though. This will deal with it easily. Here's Riley who'll look to release that speed. He's only got McVeigh above him. Puts the head down. A little bit heavy on the pedal. Talbot rolls to Percy Fish and maybe meets him at the same time. Tom Talbot, of course, in goal for Napier Marist today, who's, of course, Gisborne Thistle's number 2. Daniel Venemer wins that one, releases Riley, touches it around, then is brought down by Jackson Darrington. Probably a good time to mention that the last comment in the YouTube feed today gets a free side of fries with their neighbourhood pizza order. So at the moment that's Travis White. You just need to take that in and speak to Marcel in there at Neighbourhood Pizza. Tell him that you were the last to comment on the YouTube stream and you'd like your free fries with any order of one family size pizza. And if any of the staff tell you that that's not a valid deal, you're going to have to tell them that they're wrong. Not as wrong as Big Faye there, who's coughed one up. 2, Percy Fish, and it's 3-2. An innocuous little error there has brought Napier Marist one back. Just a little lapse in concentration all round there. Sounds like there's an echo in the grandstand, as the Harvey brothers have gone to get frozen cokes but provided none for the crew. Disappointing from Matt the Asset Harvey. So the original Percy Fish, of course, Liam, getting Marist a little bit closer again there. We'll see if Thistle can respond. Land's got the bit between his teeth, doesn't like conceding goals, and he's switched this one to Patterson. He's leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. Big Sam Patterson, of course, with Brandon Josling moving on to Taradale this season. Sam Patterson's going to have to take the title of Jim Bunny for the Thistle squad. Venemer on hand there to clear that one, but looks like Percy Fish again putting himself about in that box. Stuart Hill's stretched out the left boot and managed to bring that one under control. And through Alex Davies, Thistle progress forward. Rear touch there for Sebastian Bayliss, the number 7 in the middle for Napier Marist. And just to remind you, we're streaming here with Rangai Media in Ultra 4K HD. Sounds like something you might put into your car, but you probably wouldn't be doing that at the moment with the price at the pump. So if you're not already, whack this on the Chromecast or the Mirrorcast or whatever you use, the AirDrop, for those of you with that kind of technology, and get it on the big screen because it'll look great on the TV. Little button at the top of your screen there if you're looking at your phone, just press that and fill your boots. Just seen Mustafa Chan pop up in the comments again. What we really want to know, mate, is where you are and why you're not here. So fill the audience in on the narrative, please. Loose shin pad on the floor that belongs to Andre Riley as the ball trickles out of play. Special announcement just to go out to the stream team, if we can borrow a phrase from the No Dunks podcast and call you that. None other than Mason Genema has just shown up there in the comments, and he's the one with the chips from Neighbourhood Pizzeria at the moment. It's just going to be one hell of a drive because that voucher expires at 9 p.m. Tricky little through ball there from Clark, and it's the younger Nike who's picked it up for the older Percy Fish. I think that might be the wrong way around. Actually, the striker, Liam Percy Fish, is of course the younger brother of Luke, the left back. And when I say Luke the left back, I mean Luke the centre back, because he's now made way for the Napier Marist substitute, Bryce Fulton, who's filling in at left back now with new Percy Fish, and at centre back. Land has McVeigh on side, but forcing the issue a little bit. Here's Jones in the middle. Just overplays a little bit there. And Land looks to spray for Macy, who brings that one down on his cheek. A little bit of calf strain. Davies weaves through, finds Talbot, and then puts away the rebound. It's a great goal for Alex Davies. Formerly sponsored by Alan Callett, Panel and Paint, and why wouldn't they do it again? Matt the Asset Harvey is correct in his observation that he struck it first time with his right, and then the rebound's been deposited over his good mate Tom Talbot's head with the left foot. Speaking of left feet, Macy is down on the grass there. He's just landed awkwardly, and that might be the end of his day. ALH Gisborne Thistle 4, Napier Marist 2. As ALH Gisborne Thistle head coach Garrett Blair moseys on over to check out what's going on. And the lovely Mark Baple signals that it might be a good idea to get Leo off the pitch. Looks like Havelock North Wanderers lone player Alex Davies is going to, Ollie Davies is going to enter into the frame. Alex, of course, the goal scorer. Ollie, the man who's playing down the line this season in the Central League. Marist coach Brett Angel, of course, would do well to keep an eye on Ollie Davies, because if he's going to be down in the Hawke's Bay and not used by Havelock North Wanderers, might fancy a little loan deal of his own to Napier Marist. So here's Thistle back in the ascendancy. Jones for Marist finds Clark. Stuart Hill retreats to his line. Clark stands up Anderson and looks to release a shot from the top of the box, but Dan Venom has delayed him well. Good strike there from Clark. Looking dangerous, to be fair, those top two for Napier Marist. Like they'll increase their goal tally from last season, which wasn't a hell of a lot. They finished 7th out of the 9 teams in the Central Football Federation League. Scored half the amount of goals Thistle did, but conceded twice as many. I guess that's the difference in the positions on the table. Though Thistle, to be fair, he finished in 4th, 10 points off Havelock North Wanderers' top spot. Will have been looking for a little bit more than that through the bulk of the season. Jones wins the ball there from Alex Davies. Thistle have it again through Ollie Davies now. He's bundled off by Durrington. Riley uses his body well to win the possession back. And Patterson has it. Flicks across for McVeigh, who juggles a few. He gets rid of Luke Percy Fish in his road. Of course, a big burly constable up in Ruatoria these days, Matt McVeigh. Hell of a set of shoulders on him, not one you'd mess with. Give him me the opportunity to check out those comments again, and it's a ding-dong battle between Travis White and Mason Genema, just trying to get those chips. I'm sure that Travis is referring to the chips being the best in town, but earlier on he had mentioned that Alex Davies was the best right back in town, and it's hard to argue with that at the moment. I'd even go as far as saying he's the only right back in town today, because it doesn't seem like there's too many other fixtures going on. Leo Maisie's emerged out of the sheds for those at the Happy Fruit Company who may have been concerned. He's walking fine, just a bit of a fright. Almost as if, just as Nike travels with this one again on a marauding, bullocking run, Clark, tricky feet. And he's found the outside of the net. Could have fooled me, that went through and under for a second there. So yeah, back to the comments. Jason's just saying it might be a little bit tough to get to Neighbourhood Pizzeria from Hamilton in time to claim those chips before 9 p.m. I think you still probably could. I think you've got to have a little bit more of a positive attitude there. You might call on the good folk at Pro Traffic to perhaps seal off a few lanes and let you run free through that Waiweka Gorge, as Thistle navigate their way out of their defensive third. It's Ollie Davies on the ball now, thwarted by Hayden Jones, and Kirby Vaughan manages to keep it in. He's got Percy Fish at the top of the box, who has a strike. It's a good save from Stuart Hill with a comfortable height, but he's parried to good effect there. And it's Davies to Davies on the right hand side. So 2 Davies, 2 Venomers, but only 1 Patterson. And Talbot manages to get in front of him there. That's the mad scientist Sebastian Bayliss releasing Ethan Clark down the left hand here. Good sliding challenge from Ryan Anderson. And give up a corner there for Napier Marist. Finally, people are starting to get it. Neighbourhood Pizzeria is going to be under the pump tonight, and we're going to have to be sharp on this one. Of course, at that full-time whistle, that's going to be the winner of the free chips. And at the moment, it's Liam O'Leary, whose mate is going to be claiming those. Well, actually, no, your mate can't claim those, Liam. Your mate will have to get on here and comment himself. Kirby Vaughan releases one from the top of the box. And just prior to Liam trying to get some chips for his mate, I mean, is your mate going to get the chips and then deliver them to you? That might be okay, but doesn't sit too well with me. Jason Benham has asked, has anyone in the history of football ever covered the kilometres Nick Land has? The answer is yes. There's I forget his surname, but he goes by Kazoo. Sorry, as Matt McVeigh's got the ball on a tight angle, and it's cut off there by, that's Luke. This will look to get another one. Back to your answer, Jason. Yeah, Kazoo, I forget his surname, I think I can supply with that, but he's a 54-year-old professional footballer, without a word of a lie, playing in the J-League 2 at the moment. He's covered the most kilometres out of anybody. There's Riley into the box. Patterson now trying to repeat the feat. Darrington's header across, goal has fallen to Davies, the best right back in town, who squares it into the knee of, looks like Sebastian Bayliss, the mad scientist. Davies showing some tricky feet there. He's free on the byline. Looks to cut back to Ollie Davies, and McVeigh requests slightly better service. Of course, Neighbourhood Pizzeria does deliver. So I'm sure if you phoned in or put in the comments of your online order, which they do offer, you could just say, I'm also eligible for the free chips from the Gisborne Thistle feed today. And if they don't bring them to you, tell them that Marcel said it's okay. So we've just got some treatment going on down here on the sideline. Looks like they're lathering Liam Percy fish in, looks like butter for some reason. Don't know why they'd be doing that. Maybe one of Brett Angel's methods. As this will have another corner here, just a lot going on. We've got comments, we've got butter, and we've got corners. Looks like we've got a double substitution coming on. It's the Brew brothers, of course separated at birth but now reunited under ALH Gisborne Thistle, Reese and Raiden. Got some crossbar being struck as well as they sneak that corner there. You'll just have to tap a couple lefts to get that one happening. And I've somehow paused my stream, which I have the benefit of looking back on to see what's happened there. Don't know how possible it is to watch two things at once though. And in the middle now for Thistle. Davies on the right, who's having a stormer. Bayes popped up in the pocket. Davies will look to get this before the byline. Unsure if he did. Just as we mentioned before, we are broadcasting in 4K Ultra HD here through Rangai Media as the substitution comes into effect, but we're also just trying a few little things. So if there's a little bit of crackling in the audio, just let us know in those comments. Receiving feedback from someone of high repute saying that there may be crackling in the audio, so I'm quite hungry, and if someone says crackling, that's what I'd like. But we don't like it in our audio. Something like that. Here's Davies for Thistle. Simmons gets his first touch in a blue shirt, even though Wellington Olympic probably played in blue a few times. Simmons is loose there, looks like he's taken a position in the middle of the park. And alongside his brother Reese Brew. Thank you, Connor, for the confirmation of the crackling. And Brandon's just snaked the chips off you, although I'm not sure if Brandon's still in town. Simmons holds his shape well under pressure from the younger Nike, that's Parnell. And I've gone out the other side of the pitch to the Thistle. One thing we need to tell you, Jason Venemer, in that comments section is that Nick Bland's engine does not crackle, it purrs. And here he is on the ball here. Under close attention from Talbot. Best of friends, no issues there. There actually is a lawnmower going in the background, which actually is Nick Land's uncle, so that legitimately could be the crackling that you're hearing. Just looking for a bit of feedback on whether the crackling's fixed or not now. Every chance. Number of factors could be contributing to the crackling, and that's a cracking ball from Avalo for Davies. Looks to square it to his brother, but it's cut out by Percy Fish. Davies has sided them down, and if referee Ben Chisholm had his cards, I'd say that would have been a yellow ticket there for young Alex Davies. Makes you wonder whether Brett Angel could still do a job on the pitch. Maybe a few guesses at his age. No Wikipediaing. No Googling. We want some guesses at the age of Brett Angel. Is he over or under 54, which of course is the age of the oldest current professional footballer? He's lost a lid. Some guy from Napier Marist is tossing out the Gisborne Thistle drink bottles. But in line with COVID protocols, of course, we're less than 25, so that's okay. And looks like the Marist bench have got the butter out again. Of course, we're in jest here. They've actually got the same drink bottles. No need for concern. Councillor Shannon Dowsing, of course, I believe he likes to be called High Commander of Rangai Media, has popped up in the comments section to snake those chips from everyone, suggesting that Nick Land's running on electric, which I don't know if that's true. He's a hearty farmer from the coast. The Davies brothers combining. Nick Land is offside there, but he's got away with it so far. Davies in the middle, quick feet, tight little nutmeg, just missing the finish. Round him out, 20 minutes here to play. Based on the amount of activity in the comments section, we're going to need somebody from Pro Traffic, of course, to come down and manage that, because there's going to be a bit of confusion outside Neighbourhood Pizzeria this evening. I mean, if Liam O'Leary's gone quiet and his mate hasn't shown up, he's not going to be getting the chips. Benema could be steaming in from Hamilton. And then we've got Dowsing, currently in isolation in Waitanui West. He'll be looking for the delivery. So we need someone of the expertise of the crew at Pro Traffic to be able to manage that difficult situation. Got Percy Fish on the ball, back on the pitch for Napier Marist. Simmons has picked up the loose one, lands in space on the left. And now Davies going to square McVeigh in the middle, which he does. Slides it under, easy finish. It's 2 for McVeigh and 5 for Thistle today. So ALH Gisborne Thistle 5, Napier Marist 2, as Hoolinga Pies Kuba Yedabek looks to get back on the pitch. And I do hear that chips are very good for the body mass index, especially ones from Neighbourhood Pizzeria. And the person in pole position on that right now is Hannah Story. I don't know if that's legal because she's sitting about 2 metres to my right. Simmons makes the intersection in the middle. Davies now. Gets himself on the score sheet. That's 6 for Thistle. Looking like it might unravel here for Napier Marist. I think it's fair to mention that last season he was sponsored by Alan Kellett Panel and Paint. We don't know if Havelock North Wanderers have player sponsors, but that's where you'll find him this season. Central League, it's not often you get a loan up, but it's happened. Today he's getting some miles in for Gisborne Thistle. Gassed out. When you travel with 12 and no goalkeeper, that's not surprising. Brewer in a bit of space in the middle. Shifts the ball on to his brother Aidan. The Davies brothers combine on that side. Of course, we don't have the Venom brothers on the pitch anymore, but we've got one of the brothers in the comments, which I can't see because the phone's been repossessed. Which is something that we might have to look at if we can't find a few more player sponsors. Matt McVeigh, of course, paying his own subs this season. Mentioned as many times as the Happy Fruit Company has been today. Here's McVeigh on the turn. The sponsorless Matt McVeigh gets his third. This was 7th. I might have to start a tally. And it's ALH Gisborne Thistle 7. Alexandra Electrical at Napier Marist 2. And just imagine if you were player sponsoring Matt McVeigh today. He's been all over the pitch. And he's about to get dragged. So that's enough from you for today, Matt, as well as Emiliano Avalo Piedra Buena, making way for young Corey Thompson, son of Grant, and a Thistle debut for Luca Rickard over there on the left-hand side. Both lads, of course, looking to pick up a player sponsorship, and we do know that there is one waiting for the first Thistle player for those watching at home. Travis, I'm looking at you perhaps. First one to go into Breakers for a meal. The crew there, Ash, Pratap and Lucky, have committed that player sponsorship to the first person to go and have a meal there. They've just got to ask for it and they will receive. So thank you, Breakers, for your willingness. I know we're not sure what's on the menu tonight at home, so it could be a visit to Breakers. Given that in the comment section, I'm sure somebody else has claimed the free chips with their neighbourhood pizza tonight. Seems to be a chance starting up of We Want 8. And here's Rickard. In advanced position, manages to hang on to it. He's gone down, but he's up again, has a pop, and doesn't manage to open his account just yet. He's a skillful player, a good prospect, Luca Rickard out of Gisborne Boys High School. He's got the fan club on the bank. Couple of niggles picked up from the Gisborne Thistle players today. Very lucky to have Dynamic Rehab as the official physiotherapist guys like Brandon Josling and Jimmy Summerton, Ollie Davies, even though he's out there today, they'll be missing the attention they received last season from Mark and his staff. Thanks to those staff, Jedebek is back on the pitch. There's Simmons now. And just as I go through this team, just so you know, and I'm going to say there are 4 players currently on the pitch that have not had some sort of treatment from dynamic rehab so far this year. So it sounds like we've resolved the crackling issue. Just need to know if there's now a cackling issue. If we can just get some feedback in the comments about whether there's any cackling going on in the background. Here's Simmons now in the middle. I've been handed back this flash gadget. It's an iPhone 4 from floor manager Tom. Here's Thompson with the opportunity. Hurdles Tom Talbot. Good to hear Liam O'Leary is still in the game, still looking for those chips, but haven't seen your mate yet. Speaking of physiotherapy and the services of dynamic rehab, there's another injury for Marist now in the middle of the park. As this will carry on, everything's okay. Here's Jones now, looks to find Bayliss, the mad scientist. It's Brew. Looks to through Davies, who has abandoned the run. Yeah, fair point coming through from Mason Genema there in the comments that you would need someone to sponsor those chips. Perhaps Rotorua Forklift and Machinery Services could look to sponsor that mad dash for your free chips. I think crackling would probably go quite good on a pizza as well. Might I recommend the calzone actually, while we're speaking of pizza. I don't know if it's technically a pizza, as the elder Percy Fish, who is also the new Percy Fish, has copped one on the ankle there from Ollie Davies in the middle. Nika, and plenty of time in the middle there for Marist. So we reach the closing stages of this fixture. Through ball from the original Percy Fish has Stuart Hill outside his area. Composed for Brew in the middle's turn. McLean looks to pop Ollie Davies over, who's fast, and he'll get a touch here. Nike is in the middle to prevent it getting as far as Rickard, who's finding himself in some advanced areas. A good account of himself in his debut, Luca Rickard, who is, of course, looking for a player sponsor. Tidy passing through traffic there for Marist, but Brew makes the tackle on Ethan Clark. As Aidan Jones decides he's had enough for the day and just wanders off the pitch. Which means Napier Marist now playing with 10. Here's Nick Land driving through the middle. Land, of course, as ever, sponsored by More Kaido Herefords. Here's Jedebek now. Brew gets it forward for Land. Now Riley, who's in the middle of the park. So done a little switcheroony with Jedebek there. Percy Fish shows a clean pair of heels, looking to get another one for Napier Marist, but Yedabek is covered there. Calmness at the back for Gisborne Thistle. They put together a series of passes here. Riley has slipped Davies. Davey and Tom Talbot is alert to it. Fulton's kept the ball in well there, but then just looked to play a bit of force back instead. We're in the final 5. And we're talking free chips from Neighbourhood Pizzeria, of course with any purchase. And again, I would recommend the calzone. Jason Venimer currently in the lead, but on the pitch it's ALH Gisborne Thistle in the lead, 7 goals to 2. We've got a confirmed Oscar Smith sighting here, currently channeling his energies into his beach sprinting career. Looking forward to him featuring for the Gisborne Thistle at some stage this season. As referee Ben Chisholm, who's been quiet this half, has a free kick there. Looks like Simmons in his debut, who's pulling rank here to take the free kick. Must have developed himself a bit of reputation at training already. What a way to introduce yourself by slotting this one. He's got the dancing feet. He'll have to do it again. He's passed it into the wall. Definitely a set piece, which has got his brother involved, who drives from distance. Talbot with the awkward one. Sees the deflection go up for a corner. Sims at the far post from Alex Davies' corner, and it's claimed well by Talbot. And it's probably time for an apology. We've managed to get 87 minutes into the coverage, and we haven't mentioned that the Percy Fish brothers, not only are they reunited here from Masonvale to turn out for Napier Marist, and of course they'll look to build something here as I'm just about to launch into a story, but what you need to know is that if you're thinking social media, you can't go past the Percy Fish brothers. You'll know, as this play's calmed down thankfully by Matua Reese Brew, that Liam's YouTube channel is some really hot content. His slide tackle video, titled Slide Takle, has amassed a total of 74 views so far in a matter of 5 or 6 years, and that's really pushing things through the ceiling in terms of exposure. So speaking of sponsors, you might want to get on board the Percy Fish brothers. Luke, of course, with his, he's got 110 followers on Instagram, which is 110 more than I've got. Sorry, just that cackling's coming through in the background there again. But yeah, just I want my heartfelt apologies for not getting that information out to you much sooner, because you could have been looking at those channels in the halftime show. As we reach the closing stages here. I can't see the game clock, but I'm going 89th minute. And that whistle could go any moment. In pole position at the moment on the chips is Jason Venimer, of course. But they might go to waste, because he'll be doing very well to end the stream, shut down the computer properly, and make his way to Gisborne in 5 hours. I suppose he can make the order. He could ask them to hold it for him for a little while. Here's Stuart Hill. Day of goals here today at Childers Road Reserve. Healthy little crowd that's turned up, can't be disappointed. Plenty of entertainment that's gone on. It's been crackling, cackling and shrieking. And Thistle are looking to make it a nice round 8. Here's Rickard. Intimidated by his high school senior and doesn't want to have a go at that one. Just want to put the disclaimer out here now. Rangai Media does not get the free chips for making that final comment. There's no inside jobs around here, just authentic deals, authentic vouchers, pre-approved by our valued sponsors. Here's Clark driving through. Some fancy footwork from Ethan Clark there. He's been probably Marist best today as he's just succumbing to a bit of cramp. And there's that final whistle. It's Jason Venomer on the chips. Unless my eyes deceive me. Just that little bit of lag, but that'll be exciting to see. Let's timestamp that. And thank you for your company watching down here at Childers Road Reserve. Some people watching from their phone in the stand. It's been a pleasure bringing the coverage to you for the first time this season. Just like to thank our sponsors. You can see them on the far side there. Of course, Pro Traffic, Neighbourhood Pizzeria, Rhythm and Vines, Dynamic Rehab. The coverage has been brought to you by Rangai Media of ALH Gisborne Thistle's emphatic 7-2 victory today. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next couple of weeks.